Hello everyone, what is going on? It is your boy Izzy33, welcoming you to IPW Underground. We've got an epic show, we've got a title main event for you, as 3 of the best bouts will be taking place, because we also have a title eliminator. 2 stars go in war, the winner advances into a potential title shot, the other out of contention for that prize. As well as that, we've got another mid-card matchup that's just for funsies. There's nothing at stake on that one. As well as then our main event, which is that title match for Ivy Niles Underground Championship. Set for some explosive action there tonight. So, without further ado, how about we toss it over to the ring for our opener here tonight. If you caught a glimpse of what was on the screen there, you'd know this is going to be a bit of a brawl. Jon Moxley set for action here tonight. And he's taking the stroll down the ramp instead of through the crowd. That's a sign of things to come, because this man really meaning business here tonight. No gimmicks, just pure adrenaline. As you can tell, the ropes have been removed for this ring, from this ring, and the action set to be uncontainable. An underground style match in the actual underground, and well, it's going to be pretty good, pretty gnarly. As we ready ourselves, Mox looks content to go. And his opponent, it's time to maybe welcome a new man to the Hall of Pain. As Big Mark Henry makes his underground debut here tonight. A similar story can be said for Jon Moxley. Both in debuts, both looking for a 1 against their record. You look at the rest of contention for this undisputed underground championship, and you look at the records, they're all 1-0s, 0-1s, and well, this is set to be an interesting bout, because you got some, I would call, hard hitters, some main event talent that can really step up to the occasion. We toss it to Mike Rome for official introductions to this underground match.
The following contest is an NXT Underground match. The only ways to win are by knockout or submission. Introducing first, from Cincinnati, Ohio, weighing in at 225 pounds, Jon Moxley. And from Silsbee, Texas, weighing in at 362 pounds, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
Well, both men looking ready to go here for this matchup. Well, I am too as we get underway. Henry out of the gates first, flattening Jon Moxley. Attempts the elbow drop here, and well, that falls short as the early jockeying being met by both men. Either really finding that early advantage. And this is the thing about Mark Henry we typically see, is he likes to weather the early storm of offense from an opponent. And typically in that same avenue, just unload some heavy shots of his own. It's always that feeling out process as that inverted body slam comes through. that really sets the tone for a Mark Henry matchup. Oh, vicious crash there into the mat for Moxley. We've got our supporters at ringside, ready to probably run out of the way if one of these bodies go flying out of this squared circle. As Moxley, realizing the strength of the world's strongest man, realizes that it's not going to be easy to keep him down if he manages to do so in the first place. Mox rolls out, climbs back in. That bait and switch, more than anything, gets him an advantage into this matchup. Just hitting that haymaker lariat. Obviously can't really hit the wacky line in this style of matchup, but let's be honest, it's pretty strong. And when he does unload that type of shot. Mark unloading some heavy shots as he goes to work now onto Jon Moxley. Hello, Walter Johnson in the chat. How you doing? And we were focusing back on the matchup. Mark Henry in control right now. Keeping Moxley at bay, not allowing him to go all psycho and loading that wacky offense he's known for. That's a big power bomb. Ooh, Moxley's body in tatters after that one. Followed up with a splash from, what, a 300, 400 pound man landing on you? That's never a pleasant surprise. And this world's strongest slam seals the deal. Moxley unable to recover from that consecutive offense from Henry. Flattens him straight into the floor, and well, it's a knockout in our opener here today.
Here is your winner, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
Jon Moxley introduced to the Hall of Pain in his underground debut, in both men's underground debut. Massive win here for Henry and an advancement in the rankings for the Eliminator. Moxley out of contention now for the Underground Championship, but now we've got Mark Henry in the hunt. And you've got to feel Kurt Angle certainly watching on for that one. How's it going, folks? One match in, two more to go, and, well, from that Eliminator, we're going to go to an absolute slugfest. An interesting battle here for you now. Submission style wrestling from two not very typical submission wrestlers. Let's send it back to the ring as they've put back the ropes. They've set up and basically, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? My brain wants to say executed all the people stood at ringside, but that's the wrong term. I've got a feeling it's more of a kick them out the building as we go into our second bout here tonight. As the violin kicks up, it's time to bring out some strong style. A rhythmic melody fills the underground arena. Shinsuke Nakamura looks to take over.
The following contest is a submission match. Making his way to the ring from Kyoto, Japan, weighing in at 220 pounds, Shinsuke Nakamura.
A lot of new faces entering the underground arena here tonight, and it is a welcome sight to say the least. Obviously, with the fact that Kurt Angle requested more competition, a chance for the stars that have kind of fallen off their path on primetime and breakdown to now come back swinging here in a new environment built for their style of wrestling. Our general manager, Ludwig Kaiser, loves to set up the insanity, the unique matchups that don't typically fit certain star styles. He likes to challenge them, bring them out their comfort zone to better harness their skills. And well, submission matchup for Nakamura goes against his grain considerably. That submission style different to strong style, and where you've got the power of knees and kicks from Nakamura, that Muay Thai style that he possesses, you got the British bare knuckle boxing background. All the B's for Barrett. Boom.
And his opponent from Preston, England, weighing in at 246 pounds, Wade Barrett.
Barrett, as mentioned, a bare knuckle boxer, former bare knuckle boxer, bringing a big shot with that bull hammer. While these two would typically want a KO style bout, boom. They're getting brought out that comfort zone. I feel that this matchup slightly favors Shinsuke Nakamura. Arm triangles, arm bars in his repertoire. Whereas you're thinking maybe some cravat style wrestling out of Barrett to take the dub here. Early tie up. Going in favor, no, I tell a lie. It's in favor of Nakamura now. But that waistlock transition there by Shinsuke into side control. Good transition out there, head scissors by Barrett. And it's an early sort of even playing field for both men. A surprising amount of pressure being applied here by the big quads and thighs of Barrett. And then a chop with the leg across the neck. Certainly effective in wearing down the temple, the neck area of Nakamura to maybe look for a submission around that. Camel clutch, rear naked, those sorts of submissions could be what is in the playbook of Barrett for this matchup. As we just saw though, Nakamura, early arm triangle applied onto Barrett to break out of that difficult situation. And well, we tie up for the second time now. You'd expect the power game obviously to favor Barrett, but right now, Nakamura overpowers Barrett and well, hits back. Don't know how Barrett ended up on the apron there, a bit weird, but we tie up for a third time now, and this time Barrett overpowers Nakamura into the ropes. Clean break by both men, but it's Barrett landing the big shot out of it. Both, I feel, really going to have to put in the extra work in this matchup. A lot of wear down going to be needed in order to put away your opponent. Barrett may have been calling for that ball hammer, but he didn't go for it just yet. Instead, some big clubbing blows and a shot to the back of the head on Shinsuke there. The Brit, fired up, charges in, meets the boots of Nakamura in his face, and well, is able to recover quite quickly. Nakamura, though, escaping out of treachery there. Goes back on the offensive, signed Russian leg sweep. Brings down Barrett. Nice boot there. Nakamura into submission hold. Armbar applied. Arms also not going to be linked together there by Barrett. The typical way to prevent that submission, obviously, is a clasping action where you interlock both hands together. You kind of create this S grip with them. Nakamura just did not give that opportunity over to Barrett to get them clasped together and really just negate that submission hold. Gut kick and then a big super kick to the face from Barrett. Gonna drop Nakamura, force the action outside the ring. Only way to win this one is by submission. But there is this caveat to that. Countouts are in this matchup, which does make this a little bit more of a difficult situation for Nakamura in this case, because that threat of being counted out due to being unable to respond to the big offense from Barrett, who's got you up right now. Apron powerbomb into the side with the shoulder as well. My word, Barrett unloading some big shots. Sends Nakamura back in. Gonna break the count, and now camel clutch applied. And I thought this might be his avenue of attack, obviously, after the early offensive to the face and neck area of Nakamura. Shinsuke don't respond. I believe he's busted open Barrett there, with blood trickling down the face. Yes, it is. Oh, beautiful underhooks with that suplex. Executed there by Nakamura. T-bone as well. Unleashing the whole repertoire of suplexes is Nakamura, who's now not done. He's lining up Barrett here. Barrett, though, wise to the situation, escapes danger and goes back on the offensive. Barrett, a little bit cheeky, a little bit dirty in his style. Gonna remove that top turnbuckle. Remember, DQs are a thing in this matchup. Pop up. May have been thinking Bullhammer, not gonna go for it instead. The action spills to the outside once more. Nakamura struggling as of late in this matchup. He's really been on the receiving end of some big shots. Not going to go into the apron this side. I would have felt that would be a little bit more painful than the opposite, obviously, with the LED apron facing our hard cam. Certainly a bit more of a heavy, harsher impact to it. Barrett now still maintaining momentum, tries to hit the double axe to the back. Nakamura, whatever that was, it was effective. It's like a knee to the body. Able to just cut down Barrett. Tries to set Barrett up for something there, can't get it. Instead, Nakamura sends him running. King Shota! A snap back of that neck, and Barrett sent into a perilous situation. Nakamura rolling, looking for the count out, realizes submissions may not be the avenue of attack. Needed to be able to beat Barrett. Never mind, he sends it back in. It could actually just be that. Instead, it's Nakamura ascending to the top. Not something you typically see from him. Barrett catching him. Nakamura took too long up there. I'm gonna make Shinsuke pay. Nakamura returns to the ring. Barrett with a bullhammer. And now, Boston Crab applied. I've got a feeling Nakamura can get out of this. He may be a little groggy from that shot to the face, but his legs have been relatively unpunished in this match. Not enough punishment down there just yet. Barrett needs to really unload or change his submission target if he is to beat Nakamura. He's targeted the head early. I've got a feeling he needs to keep on that target. Nakamura eats the double axe to the head. Shinsuke feeling himself here. has a hold of Barrett. Brings him onto the ropes and sends him for a little run. Tries to hit the roundhouse, misses. Both men colliding, but Shinsuke firing off first. Hooks up, snap vertical. Another suplex out the repertoire. Well, Nakamura's not done. Big knee to the side of the face. Both men must have really a lot of punishment on that head. Barrett escaping out of the fireman's carry. Could have been dangerous. Gets Nakamura into one. Thinking maybe wasteland, but this is another Kinshasa. Trading positions, but in the end, it's Nakamura getting the better of that one. Dragon Sleeper applied. Will he get the tap? It's wrenching back on it only slightly. Barrett easily out of it. Nakamura didn't have it underneath the chin where you realistically need that type of submission in order to get the victory. It is paramount that you kind of get that position. Double axe to the face. Nakamura, who's keeping the pressure on here. The head certainly the target. And now Barrett unloads a combo. Bare knuckle style coming into effect. Boom, a big stiff right. Drops Nakamura down. Barrett really on the search for something here. A big boot to the skull could be that as a precursor to this. The bullhammer locked and loaded. Boom! The clubbing shot to the side of the face connects. Nakamura catching Barrett. T-bone suplex. Great offense coming out from Nakamura. He's stopping the momentum that Barrett was opting for. Could look for the submission here. In fact, he is. Dragon Sleeper applied. Wrenching back on it. Is it under the chin this time? It's hard to tell from this angle. From this angle, it did not look like it. Big boot from Barrett. Fires back that comeback shot. And now Barrett. He's calling for it maybe again. A bullhammer on the horizon. Irish whip sends Nakamura running, but Barrett can't capitalize on it. Instead, caught, put in the corner. Shinsuke, a scoop and a slam, puts down his opponent. Once more to the high rent district goes Nakamura. Looking to fly from the second rope. This time with a Kinshasa. Snapping the skull of Barrett back into the mat. Dragon Sleeper applied, but you could see that hand dangled into that bottom rope there for Barrett. Keeps him alive in this matchup. Nakamura not done though. Dragon Sleeper again applied. It's not really applied in that deep. Needs to really start pulling back on it. Otherwise Barrett can just escape the hold pretty easily. Well, that might just end it all. Kinshasa connects, and again, Dragon Sleeper applied. Barrett breaks out, realizes the danger, but Nakamura's not slowing down. Another big shot connects. This time Barrett fires back, hits the DDT. Wade really needing to find his shot. The arm pad pulled back for that bull hammer again. And now, camel clutch applied. Wrenching back his Barrett. Has all of Nakamura's work been for naught? Currently it isn't just yet. Nakamura though caught. Fireman's carry for Barrett. Wasteland. Big shots raining in here as Barrett He's in the best position. Shoulder breaker, though, from Nakamura may just change that tune ever so slightly. Can't hit the big right, but that big bull hammer elbow. That shot connects. Nakamura, he's quite close to the ropes in touching distance, and well, the referee spots the hand reaching him. Calls the rope break there. Nakamura on wobbly legs. He's eating some stiff offense. Surprisingly not busted open just yet. I had a feeling he might get cut open soon with the amount of those bull hammers connecting. But to no avail has that shot been able to cause a cut on the face of Nakamura. Instead, it's just Barrett with blood trickling down his face. As now Nakamura lines him up again. Combo of kicks flurrying through. Drops Barrett. Oh, big clothesline from Wade. I thought for a moment he was running in, charging in with a bull hammer, but no. Not the case. Instead, it's the big knee that's going to bust open Nakamura. And a bit of karma coming back to bite him here as Barrett hooks him up, puts him in the corner. Not a really good place to be if you're Nakamura, trapped in a position a bare-knuckle boxer can just unload on you, but instead it's going to be Barrett opting for a German suplex out of the position, just to cause some more carnage in the center of the ring. Barrett catching Nakamura up on his shoulders. Wasteland for a second time now. Connects with that maneuver, and Barrett needs to bring Nakamura away from that bottom rope. Look for that camel clutch again. Some submission needs to come through, and it is going to be the camel clutch. Locked in deep. Wrenching back. Somehow, a referee spotted a rope break. I could not tell where. It may have been the feet of Nakamura reaching that bottom rope, but it didn't look like it was in range of that. Barrett drops the axe across the head. Now, he's revving it up. Boom! Just dropping Nakamura where he stands. This time, camel clutch in the center. No rope break needed. This could be it. Indeed it is. A tap out there by Nakamura gives Wade Barrett the big W. And honestly, both men came to play, both wrecking the balls with their offense. You'd think that style not suited to this, but when you think about it, if you just soften your opponent's face up enough with your big bullhammer or Kinshasas, chances are they're going to go to sleep anyway. And when you put them in the submission hold, they're going to be unconscious. Nakamura did not go to sleep, however. Instead, all the face punishment he received, probably a broken nose as well, just meant that he was going night-night and forced to tap out of this one. Here we see that final bull hammer just uncorked. And then the camel clutch. And just the pulling back there by Barrett to get the dub.
Here is your winner, Wade Barrett.
Fantastic submission victory for Barrett. As well, he advances up the rankings here in the Underground. But with our second match in the books, it's main event time. Who wins in the Underground Championship matchup? We're heading to an MMA style bout for this one. As well, last week we saw her in action winning a title eliminator. And well, the woman who likes to remove people's O's, Ivy Nile, has taken exception to her and issued that open title matchup. This is going to be epic. One for the ages. That's for goddamn sure. It's Sol Ruka. It's Ivy Nile in a moment's time. It would help if my drink had a drink in it. Lots law in it. Let's grab this one. But yes, we're going to a championship matchup. Sol Ruka, Ivy Nile. Winner takes all, I guess. So, let us get going, buckaroos.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the Women's Underground Championship.
Well, last week, the Cowabunga Kid, Sol Ruka, took to the IPW Underground Ring and got into a fight with Maxine Dupree. Dupree had her soul snatched, and Sol took the W and has taken it straight to a title match. And you look at Ivy Nile, all the stars she's faced so far in the Underground. Currently, 6-1. All matches, I believe, of hers ending in submission victory. A chance now for a knockout for the champ. As I believe most of her matches have been submission bouts. That similar sort of style that her and Kurt Angle want. But no. Now it's time for a change-up. There you see the illustrious Women's Underground Championship around the waist of Nile. The grey to match her gear. Certainly nice touch here for her. Nile, obviously the Underground Champion, gaining benefits of that title. Qualification instantly to the Winter Classic, the Showdown. Those two obviously going to champions in IPW. The Underground Championship, one of those ones that sits in that lucky position to be in those style of matches. Mike Chrome, take it away with our championship introductions for this, your main event.
Introducing the challenger from Honolulu, Hawaii, Sol Ruka. And her opponent from Knoxville, Tennessee, the Women's Underground Champion, Ivy Nile.
Nile looking ready, composed, Sol hyping up the crowd. This is going to be one heck of a main event. As we know, Nile really looking for the submission. Dragon Sleeper has been her speciality as of all her title bouts. The reign started with one of them. As for Sol, it's knockouts. The Soul Snatcher, heavy in her offense. The power game, not something you typically would associate with Sol, but it is the technique and that raw prowess that she possesses, where she can just take it to an opponent, then get them in a situation where they are unable to respond. Soul having a way with the champion early. Already looking to fly as she heads over to the apron. Springboard, clothesline connects. The champion struggling in the early stages here to find a way into this bout. And this is kind of atypical of a Nile matchup. She's typically the one early doling out the damage. Able to get back up. Hurricane Rana takes down the challenger. Early submission hold here. In a matchup like this, I forget if rope breaks are a factor. But you've got to think, though, a rope break in a matchup like this, where it's all about contained action inside the ring, you got to say it is probably not in that repertoire. Weaponry, though, is. And the big funny mallet that's ha 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 is certainly in the funny side of this bout. Brought into the ring, but not going to be able to be swung effectively here by Nile. Is still able to maintain pressure onto Soul. Snapping that neck into the, well, across the side of her body. Nile starting to get rolling. First collar and elbow of this championship matchup goes in favor of Nile, forcing Soul back into the corner. Will we get a clean break? The answer is yes. Both ladies giving it a fair position, but a little kick to the foot forces Soul into a difficult situation when there's a mallet in play. Nile chasing Soul to ringside. Keeps the pressure on. Maintains control here of her opponent. Soul trying to fire back with a super kick, avoids the grappling attempt at Nile. And if you're Soul, you kind of want to avoid getting tied up with Nile. As for Nile, rolling thunder, my word. That came out of nowhere. But you kind of want to keep it close. Do not give any space over to Soul Ruka. Because when she gets it, she's able to translate it into some of the most beautiful offense in the game. Nice fisherman's backbreak coming through there for Nile. He's just having fun with that mallet. To the apron she goes. The double bar is obviously a sign of things to come, maybe. Soul. Caught now. Gonna fire back a beautiful slap. Across the chest, it echoed through the underground arena. Ivy. And Soul jockey for position here. Big boot there. Going in favor of Soul, who heads to the apron. Springboard. Splash connects. Barely. Looked a little awkward on the landing there for Soul, and she's certainly feeling it as she comes up clutching her chest. Nile, though, on the receiving end of more of the punishment as a standing moonsault connect. Momentum shifting in favor of Ruka, who has the champion on wobbly legs. Fired up, she calls her up. Facebuster connects. Now, Ruka looking for some weaponry. And how about the pigskin? Certainly American made. And it goes splat into the mat. Soul Ruka off the ropes with the springboard. Cross body. Catching Nile charging in. Soul. Up. Down. Spiking Nile with the spine buster. But what's this? That's Raquel Rodriguez. What's she doing here? Why is she involved in the title match? Well, it's certainly effective distraction. Dragon Sleeper locked in here for the champ. Soul using their long legs to escape the hold. Oh my, could you imagine the championship being retained in that fashion? Not what you would like to see. But what I do like to see is big staircase-like objects that can elevate a person, like Soruka up to the heavens. A Rough Rider from Nile just stabbing the head of Soul into the ropes. Soul Snatcher! All these ladies pulling out the shots to get the dub. Modified camel clutch here for Soul. Nile escapes it. Northern Light suplex out from Nile to keep the pressure on. The football coming into play. Neither of these ladies, I do believe, from San Francisco. Seattle, maybe. But both looking for that kind of whitewash that the Seahawks got over the 49ers. That somehow filled my list of things. Soul Snatcher! And we have a new champion! Out of nowhere, Nile has her soul snatched. And Ruka takes the W, utilizing those ropes effectively. And the Ivy Nile reign comes to an end. To a 2-0 now, Soul Ruka. That first Soul Snatcher a setup. And then this. Just Nile getting the Northern Lights, getting control. The pigskin connecting. But Soul avoiding the next flurry of offense to just hit the ropes and hit the dub.
Here is your winner, and new Women's Underground Champion, Soul Ruka.
What a way for Soul to burst onto the scene. 2-0 now in the Underground. Defeating Ivy Nile. Taking a massive W here. My word, that just puts Ivy's record to 6-2. The champ, or the former champ now, back in the hunt. And with a new woman on top. Who's going to stop Soul? Because I've got a feeling we're going to see less of those submission-style matchups atop of the women's division and more of a hard-hitting KO style. That's more beneficial, more speedy, more Soul-like. Thank you for joining me here tonight for IPW Underground. 23 episodes in, by the way. It's technically 24 because we did that breakdown special. But who cares? This has been phenomenal. Thank you for joining me here tonight. Next week, we've got, obviously, another title eliminator. Who's going to be in the hunt now for Soul Ruka's Women's Championship? We'll find out next week. Peace out.